guys, today I'm filming an Is It Worth the Hype video on the Morphe 35O palette and 4 of their brushes. So the reason I'm doing a Is It Worth the Hype video is because a lot of people rave about Morphe, and these are Morphe affiliates, people that get paid when you use their coupon codes. So there is a lot of skepticism around whether these people are really being honest or whether they are being biased because they're earning money. So I wanted to let you guys know my honest opinions on these products from someone who is not an affiliate in any way, shape, or form from Morphe, and these are just my 100% honest opinions, and I was really excited to try out these products and let you guys know. The video I just posted before this one was a chit chat get ready with me demoing this palette and all of the brushes. I will have that linked up here so you can see everything in action and you can see for yourself how well they work on the skin. So for the brushes, as I said, I do have 4 of them, I believe, on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Morphe had a really great sale, and for a Christmas gift for me, my mother picked up 4 of the brushes during that sale time, which was great, and I was able to get them on a fantastic deal. But otherwise, these are very inexpensive brushes. I will have links and prices for everything down below, but in general, if you're not able to get things on sale, I do recommend using a coupon code. Yes, they're all affiliate links and people will make money, but you can save 10%, and 10% still counts for something. I personally recommend using Kathleen Light's coupon code. That is the one I will have linked down below. Out of all the Morphe affiliates that I'm aware of, the one that I trust the most and that I like the most is Kathleen. So I would like to promote her. If you guys want to buy anything from Morphe, to use Kathleen's coupon code. Also, Morphe does have sales from time to time, and they do show up on Haute Look, and they don't have all the brushes in there, but I do know that they have had their palettes on Haute Look for a really good price. So if you guys are not signed up for Haute Look, I do have a referral link down below, meaning if you sign up through my link, I do get some credit to use on the Haute Look website. Haute Look is a flash sale site where they will have products on sale for 1 week, and once that week is over, they're gone, or once the products sell out, they're gone. And they have beauty products every single day, and usually they will be around 50% off, which is a pretty good price. So Morphe is a very inexpensive brand, but there are several ways to get it for even cheaper. So I wanted to let you guys know all of that. And then for the Morphe 35O palette, my friend Jean actually sent this to me. She had purchased it, wasn't that impressed, and was decluttering some stuff, and I asked her if it would be okay if I had it, and she was very gracious to send it to me to test out. I'm going to go ahead and start with the palette. So this is the size of the Morphe 35 eyeshadow palette, and if you guys remember back in the day when BH, Coastal Scents used to make their huge eyeshadow palettes, these are going to be smaller than those. When I got it, I was kind of surprised that it is a little bit smaller, but again, it does only have 35 eyeshadows, but they are a lot bigger than the ones from those old BH and Coastal Scents palettes. So this is what the inside of the palette looks like. You do not have a mirror, which is fine. I mean, a mirror this size would have been great, but I realized that when you do add a mirror, it adds to the price of the packaging. And then this is what the palette looks like. There are 35 eyeshadows in here. You have a ton of mattes with a few metallics as well. I like that they have a good mixture. I wish that it was even between metallics and mattes, but they did include some really great staples. As you can see, this is an entirely warm palette. So first, I want to start with what I think about the packaging. Packaging is super cheap quality, but I do get, in order to keep the price of the palette down, they do have cheap packaging, but it isn't falling apart or anything. The eyeshadows haven't fallen out of the palette, so it could be worse. So for the colors, obviously these are all warm, so they are a little bit limited as how much variety they can have. But my biggest disappointment for this palette is if you look at these bottom 2 rows, they are full of dark brown shades that look so incredibly similar. There are just a couple shades that stand out as looking a little bit more warm or has a tiny bit of shimmer in it. But these dark browns are so freaking similar. I feel like that is just a waste of so many different colors they could have incorporated. So for all of the colors in this palette, I am most likely going to only use half of them. I do love all of the metallic shadows that they chose to include. this warm row of really orangey shades. I like all of these. So now for the formula of these shadows. So I have used this palette probably 5 or 6 times now. I am wearing it on my eyes today. The metallic shades in this palette have almost like a wet feel to them. They do remind me of the texture of a Makeup Geek foiled shadow. They are really wet and they're really pigmented. And as I was applying the shadows from this palette, I first went in with the lid and then did my transition crease outer corner, and it started to make my lid shade fade, which happens with a lot of palettes, so it isn't just exclusive to Morphe. And then I took my finger, went back in and packed on the pigment, and the metallic shades apply really, really well. One sort of con for me is that because I do have hooded eyes, the metallic shade for my lid does transfer into my crease. It isn't that big of a deal, but it is kind of annoying. For the matte shades, I found that most of these were able to blend really well. When I was using one of the dark brown shades, I had a really hard time blending, and I had like 3 other shadows underneath of it. So it wasn't like it was having trouble blending on my skin. I was having trouble blending on top of another eyeshadow. So the darker colors, I would just say be careful when you're placing them on your eye and just get some good blending brushes. So my overall thoughts on this palette is that it's good. I like a lot of the shades in here. There are a couple lid transition crease colors that I absolutely love, but 50% of this palette I'm not going to use, and that's because of personal preference. I don't use really dark colors, and there are so many dark browns. I'm really annoyed by that because I feel like it's a total waste. So I would say these eyeshadows are good, not bad, not great. And I found that the formula was pretty consistent between all of them, which is nice, but I don't think these perform as well as MAC, Makeup Geek, Anastasia, my favorite single shadows. But I like these better than Lorac shadows and Kat Von D. I feel like it's easier for me to work with the shadows in this palette than it is for me to work with eyeshadows from Lorac and Kat Von D. So this isn't too powdery, but it isn't too hard pressed either. So I think the texture of these are really nice, and I do like majority of the colors in this palette. But I'm not going to go out of my way to buy any more Morphe palettes. I would much rather have the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette over the Morphe 35O any day of the week because I love the colors and the formula of the Modern Renaissance palette better. But this is a very inexpensive palette, and if you're looking for warm shadows, I actually think this is nice. I don't think this is knock your socks off holy grail palette, but I am happy I have it, and I do think that I'll be reaching for this. So now for the brushes, I do have 4 different brushes, and I wanted to show you some alternatives to brushes I have in my collection, and then just compare these brushes to other brushes I was previously using for the same purpose. So when I was choosing my Morphe brushes, I wanted to pick out face brushes because those are my favorite, but I wanted to pick out some different shapes than the other brushes I already have in my collection. So I have 2 brushes from their Elite collection and 2 brushes from their regular collection. Again, I will have all of the full titles with the prices and the links in the description box. So the first one I have is the Morphe E8 Detail Contour Brush. And this is from the Elite collection. The packaging and the handle is so nice. So the packaging of the Elite brushes is of higher quality than their original. So I do like this packaging, and this is a really great tapered brush, and this is a detail contour, but I use this to blend out under eye corrector. But this would be a great detail contour because of the size and the bristles. It would apply product really nicely, but I think it would create too harsh of a contour for me and my fair skin. But if you are wanting to apply a really dark color just in that outermost hollow of your cheek, this would be great. Or if you are wanting to really chisel your cheeks intensely but use a light color to make it not look too crazy harsh, I think this brush would work great with that. So this would be amazing for detail contour, but I love using this to blend out my under eye corrector. And the reason I purchased this is because Katie from Luxter Lux was using this in all of her tutorials, and this does blend out product so well. So I am currently using this with a corrector under my eye just to apply into the inner corner and right under my eye. I am not doing the upside down triangle with my corrector, and that works perfectly. This helps just by pressing it into my skin, it is blending out the product, but it keeps the coverage. I don't have any sheer or bald patches, which sometimes can happen for me when I use a brush with concealer. So this brush works perfectly for that. But then I did try doing the upside down triangle, blending it out with this, and I didn't like it. I think because I just apply so much in a large area, and it does blend it out, but it does sheer it out a bit, and I just don't think it looks as flawless as when I blend out my under eye concealer with a sponge. And that's totally personal preference, but to use this with a corrector is incredible, and I do use it every single day. So I think this brush would be amazing for corrector under the eye as well as detail contour. And the brush I have I wanted to compare it to is the e.l.f. Flawless Concealer Brush. So the e.l.f. is obviously a lot cheaper. This is only $3 or $4. The shape is similar, but I like the Morphe better. So the e.l.f. has a lot more give to it, and the Morphe is just a lot more dense. It's also a little bit bigger. And when I'm blending out my concealer, the whole brush is moving around with the e.l.f. But with the Morphe, it's just the tip is moving around to really help blend it out. These Elite brushes have an incredible amount of density while still remaining very soft. So yes, this is an alternative, but it's not a dupe. I think this brush is of way better quality. So this E8 is a must-have for me. The next brush I have is the Morphe E48, again, also from their Elite collection, and this is a tapered powder brush. I use this to set my under eye concealer. It works really well for that. And the alternative I have to this is the e.l.f. small tapered brush. Again, this is a $3 or $4 brush, so it is cheaper. As you can see, the size is very, very similar to this, but again, it isn't as dense and it just moves around a little bit more. And again, I just love that these Morphe Elite brushes keep their density, so they just work so well to apply the product and really help amp up coverage. So I think that even though this is a dupeable shape brush, I think that the quality of this is way, way above other similar brushes I have in my collection. So this is also a must-have for me for setting my under eye concealer. So to show you the bristles of the Morphe E8 brushes, they are a duo fiber brush. This is like a more reddish brown, and this is a lighter brown here. So they don't look like typical duo fiber, but there are two fibers to it. So these work well with cream and powder products. My next brush is the Morphe M523, which is a brush that I had purchased because Desi Perkins and a lot of others were using this to apply bronzer. And this is a really nice paddle brush, but it is really full, and I personally cannot use this for bronzer because I'm too fair and it applies too much concentrated product, and especially because I typically use a stippling brush, so that applies the lightest amount of color. So this is way too much for me, but I have been using this to contour and it works so well because it fits right in the hollow of my cheeks to blend back and forth. This will apply color and blend it out. This brush is super cool. I think it is great quality, so I highly recommend this one as well. The brush I was using for contour is the Sigma F05 small contour brush. As you can see, the shape and size is totally different, but I love these both, and I'm just alternating between using which brush, but I think the quality is incredible and I love the shape of that. And if you do have deeper skin, this would be a great bronzing brush. And my last brush is the Morphe M510. Now there were two highlighting brushes that were very popular on YouTube, the 501, which has black hairs, and then this 510, which has white hairs. And a lot of people were using both of those brushes for highlighting. My friend LS had gone to IMAX Toronto. She bought a bunch of Morphe brushes and she had purchased the 510 and the 501. And Elle recommended this brush, the M510, for the most intense highlight. So that's why I chose it. So this is what it looks like. It is a more fluffy brush and it does apply highlight really nicely just on the top of my cheeks. I definitely do recommend this one. It gives a lot of intense color. What I was using previously is the Real Technique setting brush, which also is great for a highlight, but depending on the formula of my highlight, sometimes this brush won't pick up the product if it is more of a gelée highlight formula, but this brush works really well with that. So again, I love both of these. I will be using these interchangeably, and the quality of these Morphe M brushes I think is really nice as well. They do feel a little bit lighter, but the quality is just as good, and obviously the bristles are different though. So I absolutely love all of my Morphe brushes. I would say they are all must-haves for me personally. The quality of those brushes I think is great. I have washed them all several times. I have had zero shedding, and I haven't tried any of the other Morphe brushes. I'm not sure about the other lines or about their eye brushes, but these are incredible, and it definitely has made me interested to try out more Morphe brushes. So guys, my overall opinions, I think that the brushes are absolutely worth the hype. I think they're amazing quality. The Morphe 35O palette, if you're interested and you can get it on sale, I would recommend it. It's not my all-time favorite palette, but I do think that the quality is good, but not great. I would love to know your thoughts if you tried any products from Morphe in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.